Hello, and welcome to Lesson 13, A Meaningless World Engenders Fear. Today's idea is really another form of the preceding one, except that it is more specific as to the emotion aroused. Actually, a meaningless world is impossible. Nothing without meaning exists. However, it does not follow that you will not think you perceive something that has no meaning. On the contrary, you will be particularly likely to think you do perceive it. Recognition of the meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in the separated ones. It represents a situation in which God and the ego challenge each other as to whose meaning is to be written in the empty space that meaninglessness provides. The ego rushes in frantically to establish its own ideas there, fearful that the void may otherwise be used to demonstrate its own importance and unreality. And on this alone, it is correct. It is essential, therefore, that you learn to recognize the meaningless and accept it without fear. If you are fearful, it is certain that you will endow the world with attributes that it does not possess and crowd it with images that do not exist. To the ego, illusions are safety devices, as they must also be to you who equate yourself with the ego. The exercises for today, which should be done about 3 or 4 times for not more than a minute or so at most each time, are to be practiced in a somewhat different way from the preceding ones. With eyes closed, repeat today's idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and look about you slowly, saying, I am looking at a meaningless world. Repeat this statement to yourself as you look about. Then close your eyes and conclude with, a meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God. You may find it difficult to avoid resistance in one form or another to this concluding statement. Whatever form such resistance may take, remind yourself that you are really afraid of such a thought because of the vengeance of the enemy. You are not expected to believe the statement at this point and will probably dismiss it as preposterous. Note carefully, however, any signs of overt or covert fear which might arouse. This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which you are very inexperienced in recognizing. Do not dwell on the concluding statement and try not even to think of it except during the practice periods. That will suffice at present. This is a practice period of just beginning to understand that meaninglessness and fear are the same thing. Nothing real exists, and so the meaningless world that we create through our projections does not exist, and it does create a level of fear. And I think I'm just going to let that speak for itself, and I'm going to move on to Tina Spalding's channelings for this and see what she says, or see what Jesus says. A meaningless world engenders fear. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. It is with great joy that we join you today. You do not need to fear, dear ones, yet you remain very afraid. You have set up many defenses in your mind to protect yourself from this profound fear that is, perhaps, unrealized in your unconscious mind, though you feel it all the time. It manifests as anxiety, a sense that something bad might happen, or you wake up in the middle of the night with a sense of doom. These hidden fears dwell beneath the surface of what you consider your personality. It is important not to rush through the deconstruction of some of these ideas. Your personality, who you think you are, your self-concept, is built on some fragile, shifting, and contradictory ideas. They are unloving and untrue ideas deep in your consciousness. So we must do these lessons as prescribed so that you do not become destabilized. The ego will want to rush. It will say, let's play all these videos together in one day and we will get through this mind transformation program quicker than anyone else. Do not listen to this voice. Some people have become destabilized by rushing through these lessons. The lessons are not something to fear. Oh no, they take you on a path to peace, a greater connection with knowledge, and all kinds of wonderful experiences. But if you do them too quickly, if you rush through them thinking you know better than the designer of these lessons, then you use the unhealed mind to shift and change the curriculum. You do not ask a student in a university classroom to take over the professor's teaching, so do not do that here. Bring a healthy sense of humility to these lessons. Do them as described, gently and kindly, and follow the directions perfectly. If you find yourself upset to such a degree that you want to quit the lessons, then reassess the way you do them. Perhaps you are pushing too hard or doing them too infrequently to get the results you expect. Perhaps you are rushing them and feel a sense of anxiety as you shift and change your consciousness too quickly. You will not feel bad if you do these lessons as described. They are designed perfectly to expose the shadows, fears, and misperceptions you have about yourself and the unconscious fears and dreads that lurk deep in your mind. I am with you all the way. It is important you do not allow these words to frighten you. We will look at these shadows, fears, and confusion slowly and lovingly together. I am that one that you know as Jesus. We thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you again tomorrow. So interesting that the meaningless world engenders fear, and Jesus channels that if we try and rush these lessons, if we try and pass over these lessons, it could destabilize us. It could, in effect, throw us into a greater level of fear than we already are experiencing. And so it's just a reminder that this is not meant to be a rapid process, and you're not meant to fully understand everything that's going on, all of the changes that are taking place. This is allowing you to absorb information little by little so that you can change in a safe and comfortable manner. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.